Hi all, this is Madhumathi, Department of Food Technology, Assistant Professor. So in this video, let us see something about thermal processing of foods. so speaking about the thermal processing, why we are going in for doing the thermal processing of foods is that mainly to preserve any food item. So the food preservation only plays the major role in the thermal processing of any foods. So for the process of food preservation, there are a number of techniques that are used to prevent the food from spoiling. So those methods include the heating or the thermal processing, low temperature method, reduction water activity method, controlled storage, irradiation process, addition of chemical, and the other non-thermal processing methods. So only by using all these techniques any food can be preserved. And so the main thing is why do we preserve food? That is nothing but the microbial contamination refers to the inherence in the food of the harmful microorganisms which can cause the consumer illness like the water contamination sources, and the other contamination sources like water, air, dust, equipment, sewage, insects, rodents, and due to the employees also the microbial contamination may occur. So we have to make sure that proper handling practices, and by following like good manufacturing practices and good hygienic practices. Why it is adopted in any food industry is that any contamination that is occurring in the food must be avoided. Only then the particular food can be preserved. So coming to the as we saw what hinders the food preservation is nothing but the microbial contamination. Now how this microbial contamination occurs is that there are many types of bacteria that causes the food poisoning in any types of foods. So those types of bacteria are salmonella, norovirus, campylobacter, E. coli, listeria, and the clostridium perfringens. So these are the mainly food poisoning causing bacteria that spoils any food. And what happens when it leads to poisoning of food? What happens is, obviously any person that is affected due to the improper food, what happens is it will occur. So obviously it causes abdominal cramps, diarrhea, vomiting, loss of appetite, mild fever, weakness, nausea, and the headaches. So these are all the symptoms that happens or occurs in any adult due to the poisoning of food, and that food poisoning is mainly due to the improper handling or the storage practices that has been carried out in any food processing industry. And coming to the thermal processing of foods. So what do we know by the thermal processing is nothing but, so thermal processing is defined as the combination of the temperature and the time that is required to eliminate a desired number of microorganisms that are present in any food product. So it is nothing but the already there are a few microorganisms that are present due to the presence of moisture content in any food product. So due to the processing by using different thermal processing technique, what happens is we use a different time and temperature combination in order to destruct or eliminate the microorganisms from the particular food product. And the term thermal, it refers to the process involving the heat. So as we all know, thermal means heat. So heating the food in any effective way, of course it leads to the preservation of any foods. So the basic purpose for the processing of foods through thermal methods is nothing but, first, it helps to reduce or destroy the microbial activity. It reduces or destroys the activity of the enzymes. Also to produce physical or chemical changes in the foods also happens. So we all know by the process of cooking, so also to make the food meet a certain quality standards. So these are the basic purpose for why the thermal processing is being done for the foods. So there are also a few types of thermal processing. So mainly there are three main temperature categories employed in the thermal processing. One is the blanching, pasteurization, sterilization. So these are the main three methods. So in this we treat the processing by thermal by mild process and most severe process. So mild process, which we say, is the blanching and the pasteurization. Why we call it as a mild process is that because the temperature that has been used for preserving the foods is less than 100 degrees Celsius. And the most severe process is the canning, baking, roasting and frying, is because here the food gets baked or preserved at the higher temperatures like more than 100 degrees Celsius. So this is about blanching. So we all know in our household we do these like boiling the tomato, or even like blanching, like washing the vegetables or the greens in the hot water. So the main primary process that we call it as the blanching, which we do it in the household activity. Why we do is mainly to destroy the enzyme activity in the particular fruit or any vegetable. So it is not intended as the sole method. This is not only a method of preservation, but it is like a preliminary treatment for the preservation. And but as a that's what we say, it acts as a pre-treatment prior to freezing, drying and canning. So the main function of blanching include the reducing surface microbial contamination, softening of the particular vegetable tissues to facilitate like easy cooking, and removing of the air from the intracellular spaces, that is prior to canning. So these are the like in large scale level they do carry out blanching up to 100 degrees Celsius, like using a blanching drum, that is by using the steam up to 100 degrees Celsius. Hot water blanches have been used in the like various designs that will hold the food in the hot water for a specified time, then moves it to the dewatering or the cooling session. So in this type we can see in the image, the food will enter slowly through the rotating drum and partially gets submerged in the hot water. So there are also sometimes steam blanchers are also available. This is the preferred method for foods with large cut surface areas as lower leaching losses. So leaching losses is nothing but like in steam blanchers, sometimes due to blanching the essential nutrients may get lost. So that leaching is only we call, the loss of the essential nutrients only we call it as the leaching. So it is being reduced by the use of the steam blanchers. Normally the food material that is carried out here on a mesh belt or the rotary cylinder through a steam atmosphere, it is mainly controlled by the residence time and the speed of the rotation, and often poor uniformity of heating in the multiple layers of food, so attaining the required time temperature at the center results in overheating. Sometimes if it is not maintained, overheating of the outside layers may occur. So this is about thermal processing of foods, and thank you.